Hello, 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 and welcome to Mathematically Yu-Gi-Oh! Today we're going to be talking about Graceful Charity and how to make a Graceful Charity legal. What does that mean? Well, back in the day when Yu-Gi-Oh! First came out, everybody was running these two cards, Pot of Greed and Graceful Charity, for their powerful effects to draw. They were so strong, everybody was running them, that Konami had to pretty quickly ban these cards. Now, today's episode is all about the Graceful Charity because there are a number of cards in the card pool right now that have Graceful Charity effects that have some kind of detriment to them. Well, by using math, we can analyze and get rid of these detriments. Let's jump right in so I could show you and how to make these cards legal, just like Graceful Charity, and mathematically valuable. Did I say jump right in? I meant to let's dive right in, considering the first card I really want to bring up is Mor of Greed. I want to bring this card up because especially with Goldie getting some support, and there's also those other white tuner cards getting support, getting thrown around, Water has been getting shown a little bit of love lately. This is a card that might be worth visiting. And also, there's cards like it too, like Gladiator's Beast Respite. That card's not getting much love lately, so we're not going to really talk about it, but I do want to let you know that there are other cards like this, and the math and graphs that I'm going to show you go with these kind of cards. So if you keep that in mind, and when I show you the graphs. But first I want to just really quickly talk about what Mor of Greed does. You need to shuffle 2 water monsters from your hand into the deck, and you get to draw 3 cards. But that's actually really bad and really hard to do unless you build your deck right. That's right, I'm going to show you right now in this graph what I mean. So, what you're looking at here is this graph I created to make these Goldie, I'm just going to use Goldie as an example, viable when they're using the Mor of Greed. What does this mean, Jesse? What are you showing me here? Well, you see here, let's say you're only running 10 water cards and you're playing Mor of Greed. There's only a 25% chance that when you draw Mor of Greed that you have 2 waters in your hand. So a lot of people that are considering playing Mor of Greed are running water cards, but they probably have about 15 of them in there, meaning that it's only about a 50% chance to work, and that's why they come to the conclusion that Mor of Greed isn't that good. But the more cards you run, the better the chance to get it. And so when we use cards in statistics, we like the number 85% chance because actually it's more of a psychological thing. 85% chance psychologically feels like 100% chance. So we were going to use that number, and that's also the number we use for starters. I may have a video on that, how many optimal starters you should run, 2 card combos, a lot of stuff like that. We use 85% a lot. 25 cards is the number, and that's a high amount of monsters to run in a 40 card deck. That's what this math is for. To run, remember, Goldie and even Snopios, that's why I use this card here as an example. Snopios also likes to discard 2 fish. So maybe if you're running these Goldie cards, you might want to consider running a very high and more quantity of fish. Even I believe their field spell wants to throw in some fish. So maybe in the future, if you really want to use this card, try altering your deck to have more than 25 monsters. See if you can come up with a good Goldie deck, because that's the way to make Mor of Greed viable. I have other cards to show you too that have the Graceful Charity effect, but this one is very interesting, and we should really keep an eye on it. The second card I want to show you here is Lucky Straight. Yes, that's right. They have banned Kashtira Riseheart, what was 3 level 7s in the TCG, but this card could be an interesting replacement, especially if they allow more level 7 easy special summonable monsters, because this card can get a crazy amount of attack. All you need to do is you roll 2 dice, and the higher number of those 2, so if you get that 6 times 7 is there's a 4,200 attack this card can get. And what's interesting too, this card is not once per turn, and there's 3 effects too, 3 very strong effects this card has: sending all cards to the graveyard, special summoning a monster, or the Graceful Charity effect, the draw 3, discard 2, and that's what this video is about. So we can use it 3 times, and all we have to do to get this effect though is we have to roll a 7. 7 is really hard to get, though. Off of one roll, you have a 1 of 6 chance. Let me break it down to you in the numbers. You have a 1 in 6 chance to get a 7. How does that work? Well, let's say you roll a 3, right? On your first roll with 2 dice. All you need is a 4. You have a 1 in 6 chance of rolling a 4. Let's say you roll a 1. Well, now you need a 6. You have a 1 in 6 chance of rolling a 6. 1 in 6 is 16.67% chance. So you have to roll 1 7, a 16.67% chance. Now let's say you get it, and you use the effect again. Remember, so you drawed 3, discarded 2. You have a 2.7% chance to do it again, and a 0.46 chance to draw 9 cards, discard 6. Awful odds, by the way. But let's say you're not Lucky Chuck, and instead you're Unlucky Buck, right? So Unlucky Buck over here gets to roll 1. Let's say he fails, right? He just detached 1 material and failed. Well, that was a 16.67% chance. He gets a second shot at it. That turns to 30.56, and he gets a third roll, and that's a 42.13. That's actually very close to above 50% chance on 3 rolls. If you have some card that lets you roll again or something, and some card like that comes out in the future, I know they do have these weird one-off cards that have to do with rolling. This card is good to keep in mind if another roll card comes out that benefits rolling, but as of right now, I don't think it's worth it. But it's good to mention, and I have another good card to mention too. Because it's really fun to use. This is a fun card since we were talking about gambling, and that's Lucky Punch. Who doesn't love a good sucker punch, the underdog winning? Well, all you need to do for this card to work, to draw 3 cards, is you need 3 heads in a row. And anybody that knows the math knows that you have a 50-50 shot of getting 1 head. You have a 25% chance, though, to get 2 heads in a row. And you have a 12.5% chance to get 3 heads in a row. And this is cool because this is a continuous trap, so you can at least leave it on the field. If you don't get it 1 turn, you could try again. You could try again. The bad news is it also has a 12.5% chance to get 3 tails in a row. And if you were reading this card here, it blows itself up and you lose 6,000 life points if you get 3 tails in a row. So this card probably isn't worth it unless you're running some kind of crazy gambler deck. Then this is good math to know. But other than that, this card is trash. But a card that's not going into the trash pool is the Stained Class of Light and Dark. I really think this card has a lot of potential in a lot of decks, especially because Transaction Rollback was just came out recently. So what you do here is you apply the effects depending on the monsters you control, and I'm really focusing on the fairies, controlling a fairy, because that's that Graceful Charity effect where you get to draw 3 and discard, place 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck. I'm sorry, don't discard those. So almost a Graceful Charity effect, but the draw 3 is still very powerful, and it has a bonus effect too. If you have a Fiend, you make your opponent draw a card and discard a random card, and they can discard another card if they still have cards in their hand. So all you really need is 2 effect monsters that can stun you, and Artifact Dagda, you make that with 2 effect monsters. Appaloosa, you make with 4 effect monsters. Runic is also another fairy. Those are all fairies I showed you. Very generic, very easy to use, and very popular in decks that can stun you, negate you, delay you. And that's how you can get this effect going. So if you're using, let's just say, Runic, you can discard Transaction Rollback, maybe get that card to the graveyard too with a second Runic or something like that. You could play this card, or it's just good even if you're not running Transaction Rollback, because you could just play it with your stun strategy. You have the fairies out on the field, even if you're using Appaloosa or Artifact Dagda to pop Artifact Scythe if you make like a DPE or something. There's a lot of ways that this card can be viable. I just really thought I'd mention that. But whoa, here's a card that's probably not viable. 3 Hump Lakuta Jump Scare, everybody. I'm just here to show you that no crappy card is safe from my math, and 7 is a card that's absolutely awful. But I just wanted to talk about it to show you, because there's a lot of cards where you need 3 of on the field to do something. And here's the math for cards like that. Because you have 3 7s and you could place them on the field, they'll draw you 3 cards, right? And you can also maybe get somehow 3 Humpalakudas on the field somehow. You get to draw 3 too. But just considering the 7 right now, because that's even easier to use, you just plop them on the field. If you were somehow to get 30 cards in your hand, like your opponent let you maxi them and did the maxi challenge but failed, even if you drew 30 cards, you only have a 41.093% chance of having 3 7s in your hand. In fact, the math is so bad that even if you drew all of your cards except for 1, you still only have a 92.5% chance of having all 3 7s. That's really saying that there is a 7.25% chance for that last 7 to be on the bottom of your deck. And it's just not worth it. Look, you can just see how many cards that you have to play. But it's fun math, and I love math, so I just wanted to share that with you. Here's a card that is interesting because it is a 3-card combo. A 3-card combo because it requires an Ignister land in your field zone, then you reveal an Ignister land in your hand, and then you play the AI contact card. You need that, so you need all 3 cards. To show you how hard that is, this is a clip, a picture from my 2-card combo video. You can see here that you need 21 starters to have a greater than 86% chance to have more than 2 of them in your hand. So 21 cards is needed for that. Because you're probably only running 3 and 3, you have 6 of those cards, you're going to have less than a 15% chance, because remember, this is for a 2-card combo. You need a 3-card combo for the AI contact to work. So what that really means is this card is very hard to utilize unless you're running a lot of searchers, a lot of things that can make it worth. It takes a 3-card combo that you don't have a lot of variables to. But here's a card that is very 2 cards that I think are very meta contention, can be very close to being on meta relevant. The first card I want to talk about is the Sylvan Charity. Yes, it even has the word charity in it, like Graceful Charity. The second one is Danger Zone. They both have that 3-card. Danger Zone lets you discard 2, exactly like Graceful Charity, while Sylvan Charity lets you put them on top of the pile, which could be good in Sylvan decks. Now, Sylvan main deck monsters are absolute trash, but their extra deck monsters are pretty good. So maybe you might be playing 1 monster, but let's just say you're playing just the 3 Sylvan Charity cards, because Sylvan Charity counts as a Sylvan card. And you have one of them in your hand, and you know what? You're just going to shotgun it. You blind use it, just hoping for the best, right? By the way, it has a very detrimental effect, because if you fail, you have to put your whole hand on top of your deck. So you're just hoping. Let's just see. Your odds for getting that correctly and hitting another Sylvan Charity is 16.64. That is your shotgun percentage to hit the Sylvan Charity off the top. Now, let's just say you are just drawing a fresh hand, and wow, you had 2 Sylvan Charities in your hand. Wow, that's a 3.64% chance. I did videos on this math. If you're running a full play set of a card, you're running a 3 of, there's a 3.64% chance to see 2 or more of them. In fact, it's a 3.54% chance to see exactly 2 and a 0.1% chance to get a 3 of a kind. Just for the exact math. I have a video on that as well. You should check it out. I really love numbers, and these videos are so much fun to me. But the card that is actually really interesting, and I think the more meta contention, is the Danger Zone again. With transaction rollback in the game, and dangers have been in and out of the meta, Terelements also love to be discarded. If you discard the Terelement card with a Nessie, that's an Aqua monster, you can start fusing, making combos, so you can make use of the discard. You can make use of the draws. Danger Zone is here, but how many dangers do we need to run to get a really good amount? Well, to get over that 85% threshold I mentioned earlier, you want to be running 19 danger monsters. That gives you an 85% chance to have 2 dangers in your hand. So if one of them is Danger Zone, you're already all set. But You could even get lucky and have the danger zone in your hand and shotgun it, right? What are the shotgun percentages? Well, to get over 85, you just need to be running 14 danger monsters if your first 5 cards are blank, right? So out of 35 cards left, and you shotgun your danger zone, and you're just running 14 dangers, you have an 85% chance to hit your shotgun. You get to draw 3, discard 2. But there is a 15% chance that you fail, and yes, you must show your entire hand and shuffle it into the deck. But 14 dangers is, I feel, the comfortable amount. And you can also, you know, manipulate your hand to make sure that you get your dangers, because a lot of dangers will search another danger too when they're discarded, or dangers are really good at manipulating themselves. So that's a good card that I want to keep an eye out on the radar, especially now that transaction rollbacks having a lot of cool effects and coming around. Like I said, so between Danger Zone, the Stained Glass, and the Mor of Greed, I think are 3 really good cards that have potential. And I think the deck building that you guys can come up with can really make this. I'm on Team Innovation, by the way. You can either innovate or you could grind out and do the same decks over and over and over. I love the people that like to innovate, that make these new decks work and make these cool things work, because that makes me get to come up with new math and new crazy stuff. But anyways, those were the cards I wanted to show you with. Thank you guys for watching. There's more videos if you want to see more fun math. Thanks for watching Mathematically Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm Jesse. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.